Welcome back to In Search of Tontonteac. Today, we are going to take a detour from our traditional path in seeking out Tontonteac, and we will focus upon a map that I came across in the search for Tontonteac. I review many maps, but the Henry Schenck Tanner map of 1826 was very curious to me. Constantly, I am searching the Colorado and Gila River. On this particular map, it shows where Casa Grande is currently and states, "Ruins of the second houses of the Aztec." Is Tanner suggesting that the supposed Hohokam ruins are really Aztec ruins? In the area which is currently Phoenix, it is vacant but states Apacheria, and just north of the Apacheria, it states the Yavapai, or Long Beards. The White Mountain Apache, previously known as the Tonto Apache, and the Yavapai is obviously the Yavapai people, were said to have taken over the Phoenix area and the Tonto Basin after the Hohokam had left. Looking along the Colorado River in hopes of finding Tontonteac, I noticed Puerto Bucarello, which is at the entrance of the Grand Canyon from the Colorado River. This name I had heard before, but I couldn't remember exactly where. Then it occurred to me that in a publication called the Cartobibliography of the Grand Canyon and Lower Colorado River regions in the United States and Mexico, 1535 to 2021 by Earl E. Spamer. Within it, it states that Puerto de Bucarello is the note of a place name, usually by the confluence of the Colorado and Little Colorado rivers, which originates from Padre Francisco Tomás Garces, soon after he had visited the Havasupai on Cataract Creek in 1776. Viewing the expanse of the canyon to the north and east, he bestowed on it this name. In further reading, I found that this was the main port of the Grand Canyon from 1776 until mid-1800s. Nevertheless, just above this area, it states, "Former residence of the Aztecs." In Aztec mythology, Aztlan is believed to be the ancestral homeland of the Aztec people from which they began their migration journey that eventually led them to settle in the Valley of Mexico, where they founded the city of Tenochtitlan, present-day Mexico City. Aztlan is often described as a mythical place, symbolizing the Aztec people's sense of origin and cultural heritage. When we look at this area today, it seems to be Lake Mead and a mountainous area. Lake Mead has many secrets in which we will come back to in another video. Wouldn't it be easy to cover something up by filling it up with water? This map shows more that is very curious. Circles depict European cities while pyramid shape depict either ruins or native settlements. This area shows that the Moki, or what we know as the Hopi today, are settled just below the Grand Canyon, while the Navajos are depicted at the end of the Colorado River. 4 pyramid-shaped placements are on the map near the Grand Canyon. These are Oriba, Massanes, Jongoapia, and Gualipi. Underneath these settlements it says, "The Moki have maintained their independence since 1680. 1680 is when the Pueblo Revolt occurred. The Moki people are today known as the Hopi. The Hopi have pueblos named these places. However, they are more in the Four Corners region of Arizona and not nearly as close to the Colorado River as depicted upon this map. As a matter of fact, the placement made me think that there are possible settlements south of the Grand Canyon for how close it is to the Colorado River in comparison to the cities of New Mexico. Maybe it is just me and that I am looking too intensely into maps. Moving on. Interestingly, I did a little bit of digging and found that the Navajo and the Hopi were removed from their land in 1865, only to return a short time later. Is it possible that they were relocated? And finally, we find the third house of the Aztec. This seems to be just south of the New Mexican border with Mexico. Interesting enough, there happens to be another Casa Grande, which is a prehistoric archaeological site in the northern Mexican state of Chihuahua. This site is attributed to the Mongolian people, who occupied a vast amount of land from Gila Cliff dwellings in Arizona through New Mexico and into Mexico. The Mongolian people, the Hohokam and the ancestral Puebloans all lived around the same time from 300 AD to 1450 AD, when they all mysteriously vanished. And then, 100 years later, the Spanish arrived to find completely different people living in these areas. Here is something to think about. Were the Aztecs a massive civilization living all throughout the Southwest, in Arizona, New Mexico, and Mexico, and then in 1200 or 1300 AD, a large group broke off and headed south deeper into Mexico? Could the Hohokam, the Mongolian, and the ancestral Puebloans all be part of the Aztec civilization? Maybe Tanner knew something we do not. Or maybe he knew absolutely nothing but where ruins were located and he mistakenly took any type of ruins as Aztec ruins?